everyone, I'm back with another video from my bathroom, and I just wanted to come in here really quick and talk about the other side, I guess the shadow side of manifesting. You can also manifest bad things. I know people often talk about the fabulous and wonderful things that we all can manifest, but we can also manifest bad things. And I'm tying this to my hair. So, I get a lot of compliments on my hair. I've been locked for about 4 years now. And when a year in, I made seemed like a good decision at the time. It was not a good decision. I don't recommend. 1 star. I don't recommend. But I went on this fast type thing to lose weight. So I was okay at first, but I got really bad as time went on. So at first I was just fasting 2 or 3 days. And when I'm saying fasting, I mean I'm not eating food at all. 0 calories. I'm just drinking water. And, water with electrolytes. That's all I'm doing. When I say fasting, I just want to clarify. I mean I'm not eating food. So at first I was just doing it and it was like 48-hour fast. Like I wouldn't eat for 2 days and then I would eat something. 1 meal and start my fast again. And the meal used to be like a meat and a veg. And then I would go back to not eating again. So I was okay at first. And then I got to the point where I could do them longer. So I got to this routine where I wasn't eating for 4 days, like over 100 hours, I wasn't eating. And then when I wanted to eat, I would eat whatever I wanted. Which is a horrible plan. Because I'm like, I wasn't thinking about nutrition. I wasn't thinking about, anything good that was in there. I was just like, oh yeah, if I want to have some fried food, I can eat all the fried food I feel like eating. If I wanted to eat a bunch of sweets, I could, because it's like I hadn't eaten for 4 days. And that became my routine for a while, where I wasn't eating food for 4 days, and I would eat whatever I want for 3 days, and then go back to not eating for 4 more days. So, with that being said, I put myself in a situation later down the road where I started losing my hair because I was lacking nutrition. And when you put yourself in that state of starvation, your body stops doing certain things because it's now in a state of emergency. Like, let's think about when an emergency situation happens, what are you not going to do? Like, you're gonna not do a lot of things, right? So that's how our body is also set up. The same way, where if we are in a state of emergency, like we have to get away from danger, we have to fight for our survival in some way, shape, or form, because your body's main job is to keep itself alive. I mean, that's just the end of the story. So my body thinks it's a state of emergency. There's no food. And then I was doing dry fast too. I forgot to mention that. I was also doing dry fast. So there's 2 types of dry fast. There's a soft dry fast and there's a hard dry fast. I've done both. But when I was not eating for 4 days and making that my routine, I was doing soft dry fast. That means I had contact with water I would brush my teeth, wash my face, shower, that sort of thing, but I wasn't drinking any water. And what the thing with dry fast is, and I don't recommend that either. So, but the theory with a dry fast is that your body will then break down your fat cells to get water because you are not drinking any water. So it has to keep the organs and everything still hydrated, and keep things moving as far as the stomach acid has to stay at a certain level. You have to keep moving waste out, so your body will find the water in your fat cells. But like I said, I put my body in a state of emergency where it was like, we are in bed. We are down bad because she hasn't ate or drank anything in 4 days. So they start mobilizing other things to help keep you alive or stop doing certain things. But I also put my body in a state of stress where, all kinds of problems can happen if you're under extreme amounts of stress, like your hair falling out. So my hair fell out. I'm laughing about it now, but it was not funny. Like, I straight up cried about it because I didn't notice it, because I have quite a bit of hair, as you can see, right? I have quite a bit of hair, and even though it was coming out, and this was the area it was coming out at, I didn't notice it because I had so much hair covering up the spot that was there. But I went to get my hair done because back then I used to let somebody retwist my hair for me. So she was in there, like, she didn't even see it until she got to this point in my hair, and she's like, you have a bald spot back here. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, there's a bald spot. And she took a picture with her phone so she could show it to me. And I'm just like, and she was like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, I didn't notice it until I got to this point, because it was probably the size of a quarter. Yeah, so it was probably like a few of my locks, because they're not that big. My locks aren't that big, so it was probably like this size, right, of 2. So, but it was gone. And she was just like, I'm not sure what happened back here, because it looked like somebody took a straight razor and just took off all the hair in the spot. It's smooth, like straight bald. And I'm like, I have no idea why I don't have any hair there. And I didn't make the connection because I didn't want to. Because I thought, I was like, oh, I look so good and I don't eat. And that's all that mattered at that point. Like, that's the way I felt. I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I have to, look into it. And it turned out it was because I was eating. How do I know this? Is because when I started eating regularly, my hair started growing back. So that happened. But I mean, nobody could tell me what was the problem, because I was telling my physician at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know what's the problem. My hair is just falling out because it came out more and more and more. It was just like, I want to say, I'm going to just grab a handful of hair. It was like this much hair was missing from the back. So it was noticeable. At some point, it got really noticeable. So that's like it was probably like this much hair was missing. Like this whole little area was missing. And I was just like, I don't know what the problem is. And the doctor was like, I don't know what the problem is. And he had a huge missed opportunity to ask me, like, what am I eating and stuff like that, because I lost weight, but it wasn't like in a way where it would cause anybody alarm, right? So it was like from the time I went to see my doctor for my annual checkup, and I think it was like July of that year. So I usually get a checkup in January, and then it was like July, and I was like, I lost, because I kind of maintained my weight loss too. So it was like, I lost 40 pounds. And if it's 40 pounds between 6 months of appointment, you won't think twice about it. So the thing was, he didn't ask that question. It was a missed opportunity. But he was just like, well, it looks like it's going to grow back. I wouldn't worry about it. And I'm just like, I am out here bald. Bald. And my hair was like half this length too. It was like up here. So it's not like I had a lot of hair that covered that area. Like I had to do some trickery a lot of times. In some of my older pictures, if you get on like my IG, I have my hair up a lot, or I have it in a ponytail, or I have it half up, half down. It's because I was covering that bald spot. So, like I said, after a while, I got to a point where I was like, I have no idea what was going on. And then I started doing research, and I was like, I think I have alopecia areata, which happens under stressful situations. I had a coworker who, she said that's what happened to her, and her hair fell out really bad. She was like clumps and chunks. My problem was I wasn't seeing my hair fall out. And it was probably just one of those things your mind just blocked out, because my mind was so focused on, and my conscious mind was focused on losing weight. My subconscious mind was focused on keeping me alive. So if it fell out, it was like in places where I wouldn't look, like maybe outside or when I was out and about. So I never thought about it, like looking down and say, oh my gosh, there's hair there, my hair. And some of it just got really thin where I was cutting it out, and I just saved my hair to reattach later. But it took a very long time for me to grow my hair back out. Like it took, because this was 2019 when it happened, and it took to like the end of 2020 for me to have a good amount of hair back there for me to do something with. And the moral of the story is that I manifested this whole problem because I couldn't hold on to the fact that I wanted to do one thing, which was lose weight and look great. I couldn't hold on to it, and I ended up gaining all the weight back and then some. So I couldn't hold on to it though, and so I made problems elsewhere and put my body in a state of emergency because I was trying to take a shortcut that I knew wasn't sustainable. Like in my mind, I knew it wasn't sustainable, and and I manifested unsustainable conditions, like let my body show me that this was very unsustainable by doing something like losing my hair. And I know a lot of people don't think hair is important, but you know, being a black woman, it is important to us. It is so important to us, and it's important to me because while I love getting compliments on my hair, I don't want people to touch my hair. That I believe that there's a lot of energy that's stored in our hair. That's why when you cut your hair, you feel lighter. Even before I went natural and still had relaxed hair, I would feel this lightening, so to speak, when somebody would cut my hair, or even when I cut my hair. Like it always felt like, and I always thought it was just something that was in my mind that didn't make any sense, But I really honestly believe that we store some energy in our hair, and there's something in there, and that's why I feel like that's an inappropriate question, is when people are asked to touch your hair. I feel like it's very inappropriate because number one, you're in my personal space, and number two, you can't have my energy. You want my energy. That's the way I start reading that situation. Like, you want my energy, you can't have it. Because I was like, it feels very woo woo and off the reservation when people say stuff like I'm about to say. But here it goes. I literally feel energy leave me when somebody touches my hair. Like, I don't. I've been doing my hair for 3 years. Like, I don't go to anybody to retwist my hair anymore. And it's like, I literally, if somebody touches my hair, even somebody who's familiar with me, just like a light little playful brush, or even when my husband kind of like tries to caress my hair and stuff like that, I'm like, listen, y'all gonna leave me alone. It's just, I literally feel it leaving me. Like, it's almost like a jolt of energy that's leaving me, and I'm just like, y'all can't be touching my hair like that. I'm sorry. And maybe it's because of the trauma that I went through to get it to grow back, and and the trauma of losing it and all that other stuff. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. But in my mind, my hair is very precious, and we've been through a lot. I absolutely love having my locks. It's one of the best decisions I ever made as far as hair, and yeah, that's my story about it. But I manifested that issue, and I was distraught during the whole time. I was distraught. I was embarrassed. I was just in a state of, I don't want to be looked at. I don't want to be stared at too long. Like, don't look at me too closely, kind of thing. It was all those stuff that I just like. I was just in that. I wanted to be a recluse at that point. And when 2020 came, I was a whole recluse. Like, I didn't leave my house, like, at all. I barely left my house in 2021. And like, it just got to the point where I was like, I don't want to be seen any longer because of it. And I didn't want people to know. And I, was constantly in the state of covering up. And that's part of the reason why I ended up starting to do my own hair, because I'm like, I don't want anybody to look at my failure, so to speak. But it grew back. It came back. But I had to affirm to myself that it was coming back. It wasn't enough to hear my healthcare provider say it. It wasn't enough to hear my petition say it. I had to tell myself it's going to come back. And then I was in my mindset of like, okay, it's going to come back. It's going to be long. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. What are you going to do with your hair when it's back to where it's supposed to be? And I was like, trying to visualize, like, how would I wear my hair if I didn't have this issue? And I'm like, oh, I would wear it down all the time. And so I started wearing it down. That's why I kind of did the half up, half down thing. And like I said, I had to do some finagling to make it like cover up. I did all kinds of stuff to make it cover up a little bit. And I was doing that because I was just like, what would I do if I didn't have this problem? Like, I would wear my hair down. I would wear it this way, and I would, fling my hair like I want to. Like, I was just thinking about all those things, and I was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's do those things. And I did all kinds of scalp treatments, onion juice, rice water, black rice water, rosemary. I was drinking bone broth all the time because I wanted that collagen and keratin, and I was taking hair, skin, and nail pills. I was doing everything to get it come back, and it just took time because it took time to fall out. It took time to come back too. So it was a hardship, but it was something that I did not want to go through, but I did it to myself. That's the thing. I did it to myself. I understand I did it to myself. And now that I was able to get my hair to grow back and do all the things that I wanted to do with it, I'm in a better place, knowing that I had to believe it'll get there. I mean, you can think that it would have grew back regardless of what I thought or whatever. I like to think that I had something to do with it. Because like I said, I started eating again, and because it was growing back so slowly because I was still fasting. I was still not eating. I was like, okay, like I was trying to compromise with myself by saying, okay, maybe I'll do alternate day. Like I was still trying to hold on to something because I had this limiting belief, like this is the only way I can either lose weight or keep it off, was not eating, and that held me back from other things. So now I'm in a place where I have to learn to take care of myself. And I guess you could say that was a lesson in all of it. I have to take care of myself. I have to treat myself right. I wouldn't treat my dog that way. I wouldn't treat my husband, or if I had a kid, I wouldn't treat my child that way. Like, I just have to take care of myself. So you have to take care of yourself during this time frame, and you have to not let limiting beliefs pretty much take over everything, because you will manifest chaos. If you really, really think about it, you will manifest the chaos in your life. And I did manifest that chaotic situation for myself, because I knew in my mind, in my heart, I knew what was wrong. I just didn't want to accept it. And being in that type of denial doesn't help anybody, right? So the moral of the story is, if you do things from a perspective of love and care and trying to honor yourself, your true self, not just the physical self, but your true self, and you want to do things that will take you to a better place, do it in a way that means self-care. Because if it's coming from any inkling of something else, it will turn into bad things. Kind of like if you go and like read any of the 1001 Nights, 1001 Nights, or Arabian Nights, or whatever it is. I think Arabian Nights is a movie based on the 1001 Nights. I don't know. But if you go through like those fairy tales from the Mideast, and they talk about genies, and when they give you a wish, it's always something really funky with your wish, like, I wish to be rich. And then you're rich, but nobody wants to be around you, or everybody's trying to attack you because you stole all the money to get rich. Like, it's like that. You can't have any funkiness behind what you're trying to bring into fruition. You can't. Like, you have to get it all the way. Like, you have to get your mind right. So you can't say, I want to be rich, or I want to be beautiful, and then think as well, rich people are bad, rich people are greedy, or beautiful people are mean, they are stuck up, and like you're attaching that to the persona you're trying to create, and it's not. Don't do that. Because it's just going to make other things, like, you can't have that type of limiting belief with your manifestation, because it will cause other problems. And that was my problem when it came to that particular part of my life, that past self, I had that limiting belief and I was sticking to it. And then I saw myself deteriorating and I'm just like, and I still wanted to stick to it. And I'm like, this will be my detriment. This will be my downfall. Because who knows how bad it could have got, right? I've heard people losing teeth and all that other stuff too. You know, like people who are anorexic and bulimic, it takes them a long time to recover because they did damage. And then, like I said, when I saw my hair falling out, I'm like, I am not doing myself any favors. I'm doing damage. So, but I wanted to keep that limiting belief. So sometimes you have to let things go, because what is the ultimate goal of what you're trying to get to? Everybody wants to get to happy and healthy, I'm assuming. So that's what, everything has to coincide with that. Will this make me happy? Will this make me healthier? And that should be your foundation of every type of manifestation you try to bring forward. But like I said, keep in mind, if you focus on something negative, even if it's your subconscious focusing on it, it will also come into fruition. So make sure you keep your focus on what you truly desire and what you truly want out of life. And then keep the focus there. Alright, so that was a lot just to talk about some hair, but I had to throw that in because I still, like I said, I still believe that I manifested that problem. I didn't think of it as in oh my gosh, I could lose my hair kind of thing. I did have that thought, I'm not gonna lie. I did when I first started going into it, and I just was like, oh, do I really want to do this? Because I could lose my hair. And then I was just like, you know, I want the result that all these other people say that they're getting, so let's do it. So I knew the risk. It was one of the risks I was willing to take, and I knew that it could happen, but I did it anyway. So always keep those things in mind, you know, and make sure that you think good thoughts, you think positive thoughts, that you're happy with yourself from the inside so it can reflect on the outside. Okay? I'm so glad you were able to stick around with me for the entire video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully you found anything that I said here useful enough to stick around for more of my content. But I appreciate you guys. Thank